Hello and welcome back to Space Engineers. In today's video, we're looking at another small exploration vehicle, where this one that I'm currently driving is called the Orbital Drop Survey Vehicle, which is this lovely thing, all the way over here. So yes, we are sitting on the outer edge of the atmosphere for the Earth-like planet, because we are going to drop this as I go around the outside. But no, for this vehicle, what it's designed for is to drop from orbit and fly all the way up to orbit thanks to all the hydrogen thrusters below this thing, and go out about and exploring. It's got an ore detector on here so you can go and mark all patches, and if you need to while exploring you can treat this as a regular ship and just fly around fire its hydrogen thrusters, but do be aware the hydrogen thrusters are quite limited on its forwards, backwards, left and right. It's basically all for moving up. So press the F10, find this in spawn menu. The Orbital Drop Survey Vehicle is 655 small blocks using a couple of the DLC packs. We see up here some nice bits of information about it, as well as what's equipped on here. So we see we've got ourselves an ore detector, a remote controller block, antenna, laser antenna, O2 H2 generator, hydrogen tanks, hydrogen engine for emergency bit power, 1 large and 9 small batteries, connected to actually dock it up. Then of course we've got our cargo containers, our cameras, oxygen tanks with an air vent to suck in oxygen and refill it up automatically, and then a vent controller to control the fuel management when you're flying up to space. Then we'll give this thing a thumbs up, move around towards the very front. In fact, what I'm going to do now is attach it onto that. There we go. We're going to have a quick look around the outside. And once we're down on the ground, we'll drive around for a bit and of course go around all the controls. So over here, tab number 1, what I'm going to do now is turn off the thrusters. There we go. Now we're going to fly down to the planet's surface after, well, however long it takes. But anyway, for the Orbital Drop Survey Vehicle, this is what we get at the very front. And that's a flash cockpit to drive it around with 2 spotlights to the front to light up the area. There's your air vent in the middle, suck in oxygen and refill up your oxygen tank. And down to here is your ore detector to go out and about, like I said, and scout ore patches. But this is going to be bloody quick actually go down to planet. Perhaps I was not high enough, or at least wasn't as high as I thought I was. Now, up and above here we see a bunch of yellow steel blocks with some gaps for our hydrogen thrusters to shoot out of, and this is going to be to help slow you down, but you do have controls to actually turn off only the front ones to put you into a cruise. And then down to here we see how our wheels have been set up with some grey steel blocks onto a suspension. Then we've got some unfinished blocks, just adding a bit of decoration on the front, as well as holding onto the main body on the side. In fact, now we're down here, I can now switch over to the actual proper camera, there we go, and all the way across onto the side. And that's what it looks like. So we've got 2 more gaps here for some hydrogen thrusters to help you on the left and right. Fantastic use of the letter blocks, spelling ODSV, which stands for the actual vehicle name. Then down here we see how our wheels have been set up at the back there, and it has been slightly extended more out to help keep this vehicle balanced. Round towards the very back here, some armor panels adding a small fin. Then we've got some more unfinished blocks, but then some interior lights to act as your brake lights, which is actually quite a novel idea for actually having the lights away from the main body of the vehicle. But now down to there we see some more lights on the back of our wheel suspensions. Then all the way up to here, here's your connector to dock it up, as well as some more hydrogen thrusters to boost you forwards in space or on a planet. Moving up slightly more onto this side, here is your vent controller to help manage your fuel when flying up to your station in space. Then on the opposite side, there's a radar dish to make sure you can always find this thing. Over here is your warfare battery being partially covered by some armor panels, and then some grey steel blocks. And there's top mount camera to help you all the way back. On the front there's your laser antenna, looking around like so at the radar dish. There we are, to the opposite sides. And there we are with that, with our remote control, to actually control this thing in case it does somehow get away from you. Moving towards the front once again. There we are, another top mount camera to actually view what's going on ahead of you. Another hydrogen thruster to help move you down just a little bit while you're in space. Then moving all down underneath this thing, here we go, excusing all the grass, and there's all of your hydrogen thrusters, which will give you one hell of a lot of speed when moving up to go to space. In the middle there's your hydrogen engine, which is your emergency form of power. Then we can very clearly see how our wheels have been set up, how the steel blocks being connected onto the main body by those unfinished blocks. With that, that's a very brief look around the outside of the Orbital Drop Survey Vehicle, and what it is for how simple it looks. It's a bloody fantastic thing to have, because it is all fully tested and set up, even in high gravity planets, to be able to go from the surface up into space, dock up with whatever ship is waiting there, or whatever station is waiting there. But anyway, grab and hold my camera to bring on the HUD. These are the controls we get. So I'll go into first person view, looking around. There we go, back into third person view, and here we go. So number 1 is with your hydrogen thrusters all around the ship to turn them on and off, where if it holds down space, as you can see we are bloody fast and basically instantly hit 100 meters per second. And well, like I said, it's going to be very quick, go up into space and connect up to whatever's waiting there for you. 3 for your hydrogen thrusters at the front to turn them off, so when you move forwards, you go into a cruise. turning them off. Press number 2, that's for your wheels to turn them on and off. Got your hydrogen engines on and off, hydrogen tanks on and off, your batteries to auto or recharge, cameras to view forwards and backwards, and once we land down onto the ground, there we are. We now actually come into the cameras. There's forwards, there's backwards, and there is that. On to tab number 2, we then got controls for your gyroscopes to increase the power and of course to turn them on and off. We then got O2HU generators on and off, oxygen tanks to stop power on and off, your event controller on and off, hydrogen thrusters once again to turn them on and off, and then once again your wheels also turn them on and off. On to tab number 3 is all about your wheels, but you do not need to mess around with any of them, just leave them as default because it's perfectly fine. So now it's time to drive this thing around. So here we go, undo the parking brakes once again, moving forwards, and this is what we get. So yes, we're not going to be the fastest thing in the world, we don't have to be for an exploration vehicle, and if we want to go even faster we can turn on the hydrogen thrusters and just boost around like so, excusing all the smoke that is kicking up. Trying to land this down carefully. There we are. And then turning this thing around, this is where it gets a little bit odd with this vehicle. Because of the way the wheels have been set up, because they are very small wheels, turning this thing around feels like it really should be flipping over. It feels like it really should be top heavy. It's quite hard to describe what's happening. It is quite snappy, it's very, well, it's very odd to actually describe. But no, it should be very good at actually turning around. Got quite tight turning circle. No, moving this thing around, going out of the van exploring should be perfectly fine for this type of vehicle or how it's been set up. And like I said earlier, activate your thrusters and zoom away into the distance, just tilting it like so, being very careful not to slam into the ground. But as for that, that's pretty much it for this vehicle, what it looks like, what you can do with it, and well, how it behaves when using the thrusters, and of course, driving around. So there'll be links to the description below to which you and play around yourself. Highly recommend you do, because it is a fantastic vehicle, and because I haven't done it for quite some time now, here we go, slamming it into the ground. And there we go, a nice big clonk, what's remaining of the vehicle. And well, it seems like there is quite a lot remaining of that vehicle, to the point I could just flip this thing over. There we go. And all the thrusters have survived. It looks like it's just the cockpit that got destroyed. So all you need to do is slap on a new cockpit, and away you go if you have a bad crash. Well, that is, if you crash like I did just there. Like I said, the link to the description below. I'll be back with another video somewhere soon. Bye bye.